Hi, welcome back, guys. I know you saw me this outfit earlier, but guess what? I don't care. Listen to me. I am not going to go change when I'm recording on the same day about the same content to do what now? And we're gonna talk about that shit. No. So, welcome back to this other review. Remember, I told you guys I was gonna do a Kevin Samuel one because I'm telling you, this guy. Ooh, but not just him. It are the women. It's the women that come in and ask crazy questions. And I'm like, what? There are these type of questions on females out there that think this is the things that they must get, right? And not just that, his advice is really disheartening. It, it I don't know. It's too much for me. So it's like they're coming broken and then they leave more broken because you didn't really give them anything. You tell them how to get a high value man. High value men don't even know how to get them themselves, much less. Right? So it's like, what? What in the Christian? Anyways, let's go.
Is your price too high?
I like to get comfy. I've been snuggling up, drinking my glass of wine and water and listening.
But is your price too high?
Oh, is my price too high? I thought you said is my place too hot. Sorry.
No. Your price too high.
Someone place to true.
I don't think my price is too high.
Okay. Well, what do you want?
Ultimately, I want a man that's a provider.
Okay.
Willing to work.
Okay.
In the beginning, but when it's time to have children, I do want to be able to stay at home and raise the children.
All right.
So they're able.
How many kids would you like?
Issues with me.
Does she have a plan? Is
ideally 3 to 4.
Are they going to plan and have
right
money?
Right now, I would say at the age that I am, maybe 2.
Is she going to say, all right, you know what? 4 years from now, we're going to have kids. The two of us are going to work and we're going to save some money. So when it is that I do have this kids, I'm going to stay home for 6 to 7 months with the child for the money that we save. And then you continue to work or whatever the case is. Is there a plan? Or are you just randomly getting pregnant just like that? And then all of a sudden everything left to him. Did you guys plan this?
How old are you?
32. Well, I'll be 32 soon.
Okay. So you want to be a traditional housewife then?
I wouldn't say ultra traditional, but somewhat, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you want the man to be a traditional provider?
Yes. Ideally, I would like that.
Okay. That sounds like an imbalance.
I don't necessarily think so.
If you need him to be a traditional provider, but he's not getting a traditional housewife, what is he getting that's better than a traditional housewife? Because his responsibility is here. What's he going to get that's here or above?
What does a traditional housewife entail?
Well, you tell me, because you said you're not one. You picked the right one.
Housewife, I'm just imagining kind of being a slave. So that's.
Let me stop you right here. Let me stop you right here. Mm-hmm. Where are your people from?
Her mama did this to her.
My mom's from Trinidad and my dad's from Jamaica. So I see that. Hold
on.
Thank you.
We don't need white supremacy racism.
Here's the thing. I did not watch this video. Her mama did that to her. Trinidadian, Caribbean women are brought up to cater and be submissive to. We are rebelling against that now, right? But it is not a bad thing. It is just to the extent of what they want us to do. And then she has someone from Asia who has a narrative that a woman is supposed to cater to him. 2 different cultures, a narrative came together. Her father expects something of her and the mother's going to do it because that's how the mother was brought up. Her mama did this to her. Let's continue, please.
Well, all we got is this, that you think that the women who came before you were slaves.
It's not that necessarily, but just what I'm seeing in the media and just all around me. I see women trying to be this housewife for men, traditional housewife for men, and they're just getting like, can I curse?
Just say something.
You prepared to be challenged on anything you're gonna say? Because you tell me in the media, I'm gonna ask you what you watch. Excuse me. What are you talking about? When women, a woman who's let's do it. Let's do it. Traditional housewife. What media are you talking about?
So let's. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I want you to define what traditional housewife.
No.
Because in my mind, traditional housewife is being home.
You can't overtalk me. That's how we don't do that. Stick it down. I said traditional housewife. You said no, not traditional housewife. All right. So you was thinking of something, and then you talk about, well, from what I'm seeing in the media. I'm asking you what media. You haven't answered any questions. Okay. What media are you talking about?
Social media.
What do you see traditional housewives in social
media? Just say movies. Don't say social media. Just say movies. That's most of where we've been taught that.
That I know of. Just women getting taken care of and not working. No?
You mean the housewife shows?
So that's what a traditional housewife is. Taken care of and not working.
To me, yes.
Oh, okay. So, and that's getting the shit end of the stick?
From what I've seen so far, yes. From what I've seen so far, yes. That's why I get your definition of it.
Well, why do you want it? Why do you want a man to take? Then why do you want a man to get out here and work and pay all the bills so you can sit at home?
I didn't necessarily phrase it as that. I said
that's what it is.
Wanted a provider for the
you
most.
You wanted to be able to work, and you wanted. I asked the question. So I'm very clear.
Sir, I asked the question.
You don't want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant. You want a man to be a traditional provider. I've said that 3 times.
Okay.
But how we get to it, you don't have to want to be able to the one carrying the financial family load. You want to be provided for.
Yeah.
And then what is he going to get? Because he's not going to get a traditional wife. What is he going to get?
He's going to get the love and support that I have.
You buy a goddamn dog for that.
That's correct.
Okay.
So you ladies don't want a fair deal. You ladies want an unfair deal. You want a man to go out and do the things that men have always been expected to do since time immemorial, but yet you don't come to the table wanting to even come and act in good faith. You, women like you, I'm going to talk about you. You come in here talking about a traditional housewife as a slave. And I tell you what, you leave men alone, go get your girlfriend, go buy a dog and live and die by yourself.
See, this should have been his teaching moment. This is why I have an issue with this guy. This should have been his teaching moment. He should have then said to her, not woman like you. You should say, she basically told him why she thinks this way. My mother did this, my family did this. Okay. All right. I understand that this is a narrative and what you've brought up in, but don't look at it that way. Have a plan if it is that you're going to go into a relationship like that and you're going to have kids and stay at home for a while and then go back out to work. You save some money together. So when you do have your downtime, then you are going to be able, it's not going to be too hard on the guy. You're still going to have money to deal with the kids. All he has to do is deal with the house and food or whatever. But the child, we're saving so he can get Pampers, whatever it is. If he gets sick, we have money in the bank for that specific reason. You are going to work to do this. So when it's finished, I am going to start back working. And give me a second. This door is really... Right, I'm back. Right, so you have a plan. You should teach her those tactics. You shouldn't belittle her and then send her off with nothing learned. She's learning anything. She's just getting insulted. This is my issue with him. He isn't teaching them the right. You should have changed her perspective on how she looked at a housewife. Show him the way that they've been taught, but I'm assuming he's Christian. I'm assuming he's... I thought I was a cross behind him there, but I'm assuming he's Christian. I'm going to go do more research and then put it here and let you guys see. But this is the way that they've taught them. See, he doesn't see that what she's having is a programming to show her that women cater to. She don't want to feel like she have to cater to a man and he does nothing. You don't know the type of man that she have had in the way that she see her father not assisting her mom in certain things, and the mom had to get up and do a lot of things on her own. Maybe she grew up at it, seeing how she is. Her father maybe did not help her mom take care of the house, taking care of her. He sat there and let her do stuff. Maybe she goes and work too and come at home and she have to be with the house and he's home not doing anything and didn't help around the house or whatever. You don't know if that's her case. So she don't want to feel like she have to be a slave to him when he of himself should have been able to come halfway with the mom. Okay, you work or whatever, and today I'm going to do this, and then tomorrow you did not balance the responsibility. It left on her mom of her own, and then dad was just there writing, taking shit I was supposed to go. So that's just the culture and the narrative that have been taught to her, and that's what she's been seeing in the Caribbean, and that's what dad has been living in Asia or whatever the case is. So he should have used that as a teaching moment. He didn't. He decided to insult her.
I get tired of you women talking about men as though we're something to hurt and abuse shit because you watch fucked up social media stories.
Mm-hmm.
Men are tired of having you put this shit on them. If we talked about y'all like this, you call us toxic. If we said, oh, traditional housewives are some gold diggers, then there'll be all kind of problems.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I mean. You guys are used to talking about men in some of the foulest ways. You didn't say you want them.
Okay.
So let's take it down. Do you want to stay home with your kids?
I absolutely do want to stay at home with my kids up until a certain age. Yes.
Then where are they going to go after what age?
I was thinking maybe kindergarten.
And if you have 4 children, that means you'll be out of the workforce for at least 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for a living?
I'm currently a flight attendant.
Flight attendant.
Mm-hmm.
So, being gone out of the workforce for 10, 12 years, think you're going to be able to go back to be a flight attendant at 50?
It's possible, but ideally I would.
Right. So, in other words, your husband, if you have 4 kids, he would have to carry the load because even if you sent the kids away to school after the youngest is in kindergarten, you just sit at home by yourself. Ain't that something? As I said, so like I said.
See, and in a situation like that, she decided to be a housewife and he decided to be the work husband. Then therefore you have to do the things. Let's say this man have to go to work at a certain time. You get up and you make his meals and he go to work, because when he come home you get him the money from his energy that he exchanged at work, right? And then he comes home and he have to eat some food, so you cook some food so he can whatever. You have the kids, you take care of the children, whatever the case is, and that's that. But when he comes home, he still expects certain things from her. So like how he goes to work, she's at home working as well. So they both have certain things there that is balancing out their energy. So he is still exchanging. So in her sense, I don't know if she just want to keep the kids and don't do anything in the home. She should have elaborated and said, well, if I'm going to be home, I'm going to be dealing with the house, cooking and cleaning, whatever, those type of things. She didn't say that what she was going to do. She was going to be emotional support. So he take it to say that she was just going to love him and kiss him in or whatever the kisses and give him a hug. She should have elaborated what it is that she intends to do while it is that they're home. This conversation is crazy and it's empty because they're not filling in the blanks for people. So it's going to look as though she's being unreasonable with things that she demanded. And he, on the other hand, is attacking her because of the narrative of what Black women were taught and what it is that he may have been hurt with, or see his friends or whatever been hurt with women who just want to not do anything.
I said 10 minutes ago, why does he have to go out and work and you get to sit on your butt at home? That don't sound like slavery to me. That sounds like luxury.
Yes. The way you put it, yes, it does.
It's not the way I put it. We just talked through your example.
I can see from that viewpoint. But I also had a question before we go further.
I want to ask, but I didn't get to ask my questions about this scenario.
Okay.
Do you have a cookbook?
Do I have a cookbook?
Nope.
No, but I
No, so you
follow
can't.
recipes.
So you can't cook. So basically,
Who said that?
I said that you can't. A woman who can cook. I come from cooking people. Women, see, traditional housewives understand that their province is the home.
Yes,
This is what I mean. So
would
what
live
I
with my
mean.
mom
So what
ever
I
since-
mean. So what I mean is, you can follow recipes. That means somebody else has to decide what the food for your family is.
Mhm.
The most important thing is the food for the family, and you can't even be responsible for that. Someone else has to do it. You'll follow it. So why don't your husband go get the woman who made the recipe?
Okay.
What do you bring into the table?
That's a valid point.
So this is what I
She didn't
mean.
have it. How does that make any?
That's a valid point.
When you ladies don't even bring, it's
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
well, you don't even bring the basic stuff. It's like
Okay.
you're like if you had 4 kids, you'd be the 5th one.
So what are the basics? This is what I really want to know. What are the basics for you?
Well,
As a
first of all, good faith.
Mm-hmm.
Good faith. Not first of all, I think
She's a Christian.
you need to go back and understand what it means to be a woman and a wife. Because if you come in through saying slave, I really got nothing to talk about when we would say shit like that.
I think you need to hear where I'm coming from, but I want you to continue before I explain that.
Man who doesn't have the moral of self.
No, I want you to continue before I explain.
Well, but coming from a place of good faith, meaning that a man is something to be valued.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that the most important duty or responsibility a woman has on the planet is her children and her family. You don't want to have anybody else raising your kids, feeding your kids. You're supposed to take pride in these kind of things.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be proud about it.
Mm-hmm.
Following a recipe used to be insulting to women. They made their own recipes, but that's when women taught each other how to cook. So you're supposed to write in recipes to recipe books, not just looking on the back of a box. But you didn't. But sadly, many women today don't know how to do this stuff. You went to school, you got an education pretty much like a guy that was gender neutral, and you're out here working. And then you want a man to come along and do what men have done for hundreds of years, but you're not even qualified to do what the women you used to call slaves did with joy.
I'm not calling them slaves necessarily. I'm just saying, depending on who they were married to.
Well, you can give me all the horror stories.
They were slaving.
Okay, who?
I can say that my mom was slaving. I can say that my mom had slaved for my dad.
Let me ask you a question.
When he was working full time
in this country, when a man and woman break up in this country, what percentage of the time do women leave financially devastated?
I don't know.
They don't. Men are the ones that leave financially devastated. 90+% of the time, custody goes to the wife. Half of the man's stuff that he had before. You need to go get familiar with this. This is why so many men are avoiding marriage, because
here's the thing about that, right? Most of the time kids go to the wife because the wife was taught how to be a mother and how to cater to and all of those different things. So when I don't send my child to the father, it is they mostly looking into how he cater to, what it is that he can do, all of those different things. If it's so that he used to take care of the kids and, make their meals, take them certain places as well, make sure that he keep the kids well, mom does, or whatever, when he shows the responsibility of being able to take care of the child, then you can have that balance. Because most men weren't brought up to do that. Women were the ones that were forced into the kitchen and do certain things early. In the traditional sense, back in the day when the son was raised, he wasn't taught how to go and cook with the daughter, or go and clean with the daughter, whatever. He was just then sent to play while she do certain things, groomed to be. He wasn't groomed to be. So when these two mesh together, it's off balance, because she then have to do everything that he doesn't do or pick up the slack, and then he feel inadequate because he doesn't know how to do this. And then the clash come into play, instead of us teaching both genders how to do things together. so they don't really feel like one is relying on the other. They know how to do things. If it's so that he goes somewhere, she knows to take up the mantle to do whatever it is a man's do, carpenter, painting, whatever. And the male as well, if he goes out to do something or she goes out to do something, he knows how to take care of the home, do certain things in the house. Men aren't taught these things. So the system is going to go for the women because that's exactly what they want to do. They've created the design to do this. This should have been his teaching moment. He didn't say that. He is so into it that he doesn't know that he's living a narrative and teaching a narrative to these people. That is my problem with people out here giving advice that is not bringing in the leeway to certain things and then making people like her feel inadequate. This girl was smiling up in the video. Right now, she feels broken.
Okay.
Women today are filing. We have a 50+% divorce rate, and women file divorce 8 to 9 times out of 10. It's because women have a financial incentive to file for divorce. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't look at Hollywood marriages, but you don't typically see women having to move back in with their mother because their husband got the home and the kids. This happens all the time with men. So, but your mother had the slave. Is your mother still married to your father?
She is.
Would she call herself a slave?
I don't know. I could ask her, but
how long did they marry?
About 32 years. They got married right before they had me.
Thank you very much. See, what you said to me, what reminds me of so much of what happened with silent generation and baby boomers. The baby boomer generation, my mother's generation, looked down upon their mother and their grandmother's generation because they had to slave for their husbands and do all this other kind of stuff. And then they realized that when they got to be later in life, that they had failed as women. They realized that every other generation of women up to them had done their jobs. They were the generation that spent all the money, sold the family houses. They're the most selfish generation that ever lived. And the ones that are still alive will tell you, we have failed as women because they're my parents. They made a generation of harder women and softer men, all because they looked upon what their mothers did as being beneath them, because they got a little funky piece of education, a little bit of government assistance, and were told that you were better than your man in the civil rights struggle. The only group of women that actually looks at the women past them as fools. But yet, now you're the most you make more money, you're more educated than the previous groups of women, you have more options, opportunity, you're freest than ever been, and you're the most unhappy group of black.
Do you think that could have been solved if the older generation, right, had taught women how to value themselves? Because what he's not focusing on as well is that why those women did not want to be their mom is because they saw what the dad did to them. The rate of, I remember slavery had just finished. So they saw their father being abusive to their mom, and mom isn't taking anything. They saw their father going out there, and those were the time where drugs and stuff was really kicking it. So their father were out there, he was cheating, he was doing certain things that the mom would have been quarreling about, and she don't have a right to say anything, and she was being just treated badly, right? And he coming and doing whatever he wants, and that's because I'm the man, I run this house, you supposed to do this for me and do that for me. So therefore her children now are going to grow up not wanting to be treated like her, which then they're going to put their foot down and say, no, I don't want to be this narrative, and I'm going to change this dynamic by not making men belittle me. So therefore I'm going to go get your education or whatever, because they didn't want to live that narrative. The mom didn't know that she can leave and go somewhere and be better, because then women couldn't work, women weren't in the work industry, so she couldn't leave and go anywhere. She couldn't go back to the family because the mom didn't want her. She couldn't do anything to stand up to herself. So then the daughter said, well, if it's so that I have my own place and I have an option, I will not allow a man to treat me this way. And so if anything goes down, I have somewhere to go. It got to their head because they were trying to survive. Then their daughter saw how mom used to be, and then they didn't want to do that. And you see how it goes down. None of them teached how to be love of self, how to not rely on somebody because I think I need you to fill a void. They didn't teach these things. It was baseless. So he's going to think the generation of parents who marriages lasted 2 and 3 years is great because the mom was held submissive and accepted whatever the man did, and he didn't fulfill his role completely, and she was never happy. But she thinks she had to settle because Christianity said when you marry, no matter what, you stick with a man. That's what happened. It goes downhill from there. So now we are here where she is seeing that dynamic, don't have her own education, but she's still single because she is all in the hype of I'm going to accomplish everything I want to accomplish, and a man isn't going to teach, but she neglect the feminine side of her by living the full masculine version of herself. Why is he giving advice to people?
I don't feel that way because
the stats say that though. Okay. You don't feel that way. The stats say that though. 1 in 4 of you will marry in a lifetime.
Okay.
And you said I don't want to be a slave, and you said basically you said your mama's slave.
Yes, because I see and hear the way that my father treats my mother, and I know that she deserves better.
Oh, you need to stay in your place. You need to stay in your place.
In my place, how?
As a child.
Wow.
That's your mama, but that's his woman. You need to stay in your place. And that's one of the main problems we have in the Black community. We got kids judging grown relationships. You don't have any children, do you?
No, I don't have any children yet.
Well, that's my point.
Mm-hmm.
You're judging your mother and father from a kid's standpoint. Mm-hmm. Not that they're just individuals. You don't know what your mama does behind closed doors to your daddy, but your mama knows enough to have her ass in a marriage. She got more than you do.
What?
What's that?
A husband.
Okay.
How many siblings you got?
I have 4 step brothers, half brothers, and 1 other brother who we have.
How many children your mother have?
All 6 of us.
How many children do your father have?
2.
Just the 2. Yeah. Well, now.
So, hold on.
Now.
so let's start. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Mm-hmm. Your biological father?
Yes.
Went with your mother and raised kids from another man?
Yes.
No.
Later on.
Ma'am, I don't need your interpretation. The biology is all I'm concerned with. Mm-hmm. Your mother had children from another man?
He's trying to push
yes.
How many men?
My mother had children from another man. 2 other men.
2 other men. So your mama has 3 baby daddies.
Met my father.
So she's reproduced with 3 men.
Yes.
So your father accepted your mother, who had reproduced with 2 other men, and she hadn't been married to those men, right?
Correct.
Right. He sounds like a goddamn superhero as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, Lord.
Are y'all not hearing this? This woman's talking like her mother is some slave and her father stepped in to raise. No, ma'am. This is why I say stay in your place as a child, because that man stepped in and did something he didn't have to do for your mama.
You said it's one-sided thing, right?
That is true, but at the moment, that wasn't even a factor. Until years later.
So she worked to help mind her kids as well? Or are you trying to tell me
that? The main reason that I came on was, honestly, I had a few questions. I wanted to know, how do women determine if our price is too high? How do we determine that?
Man, the low-level lack of respect and contempt that you seem to have for men, Black men in particular.
I don't think I have a low level and lack.
Man, I'm telling you what I'm experiencing.
Okay.
You can think what you want. I'm telling you what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I can't
And I'm a
finish this
pretty accurate
video.
judge of character. Pretty accurate judge.
I'm not gonna finish this video.
You said slave. You judge your mother as a slave. You talked about stuff that you cannot substantiate. You have nothing to back up. Your mama is married to a man of 32 years who took her in with 3 children from 2 different men. I would almost bet that she says thankful that she has this man, regardless as to what you think you saw. You think what you saw is what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in a kid's place and stop judging your grown parents. Because what do you?
I'm not gonna finish this video. What about women who accept men? Just should have been her question, but he's not allowing her to speak, right? What about women that accept men with a lot of baby mamas? Oh, they're not the same, huh? Because they're men. This is what I mean. His advice is just taking us backwards. It's not going forward. He should have said, okay, he take her in with other kids or whatever the case is. So let me hear the dynamic in how you grew up. How did your mom was treated? How did she treat the husband? What did she do? Then you can evaluate what her issue is with the male and her father, because right now she has issues with her father. Not only does she think her mom was treated unfairly, she thinks that her dad did not treat her mom a certain way. So with that, she's going to judge all men based on her father's behavior, right? So at the end of the day, you have to then evaluate her and say, well, listen, your mom is not, or your dad is not all men. Not all men are raised that way. Understand the dynamic and the culture that your father came from, and you should then break that down and show her what the issue is within herself and why she's just being so hard and judgmental on other men and where that stemmed from, and then have her solve that so then she can have a different outlook to the future people that she decides to date and be with. Solve the issue that she have now, because then when she leaves this show, she doesn't know what to do from there. She's going to continue this streak that she's having. This woman does not believe that men are treating women of the same value, and then she don't want to treat men the same way that her mom did, because she saw her mom cook and clean and work and take care of it, even though she had 2 other kids and then married to this guy, and then this guy does not respect her mom. He does not put his best foot forward, and the mom gets tired of whatever the case is, because guess what? That is what Trinidadians or Caribbean women are learned. So then she's tired of it, so she doesn't want to live the narrative of her mom. So then you should show her that in order for you to not live the narrative of her mom, you have to forgive your mom for what it is that she allowed herself to accept and didn't love herself enough, and forgive your father for not knowing any better because of the culture that he was brought up in. Show him those two sides. Don't tell the girl that she should know a child's place. A child's place is why she is in this position. This guy is doing more damage to our people than anything. I'm not going to finish watching this video. It's ridiculous. Maybe I'll finish it off later or something, but seriously, I don't need to go any further because I'm 18 minutes in, and so far this girl is feeling belittled and more insecure than anything and lost than anything. He hasn't taught her anything. All he is saying that men supposed to get is, and men are supposed to, yes, it's correct. Men are supposed to get certain things. It is completely right. She don't know how to give those men those things because she's running from what her mother did. So teach her that she can still be submissive and caring and still be independent at the time, and evaluate herself. So when she do meet a man, she knows that this man know how to meet her halfway. She is not meeting men who can meet her halfway. He's not. That is my problem with him. I don't have a problem where he bombarding women or whatever. That's a bunch of crap. But some of them, well, the 2 videos that I saw, do deserve some of the things that he said. But when I finished watching those videos, I'm like, but what did she learn from you? She's defending herself because you're attacking in some of the things that you're saying, but you're not teaching them anything. You're not teaching. You're not doing anything. You're just making it worse. I'm not going to finish watching this video. With that being said, I'm going to do another one of his just to show you what I mean with his stuff and other people's stuff as well. We have to recognize the narrative in the things that we've been taught and the people that we've been with. I always say the culture. I am from Guyana, and I have a mate that is from Barbados. We were taught two different cultures. Those cultures come together, they're going to clash. What we need to do is find a common ground. In her case, her father is from the Asian world, her mom is from the Caribbean world. Those are completely two different cultures, but still fits the same, because the Asian world, the woman caters to, and the Caribbean world, the woman knows to do this, but eventually she's going to feel a certain. But the Asian world, the men feel that they're above anything else, and he's going to start belittling her in any form or fashion. That's what I've realized about the Asian world. So he don't teach the culture barrier that they have and how they're going to clash. He's not teaching her how to stop running from her mother, forgive her mother, forgive her father, and find a new ground and how she wants to do certain things. He didn't teach her that. What is the purpose of this guy's platform is what I want to know. With that being said, guys, I'm going to do more videos on him just to show you where it is that he is causing a rift between our relationships with men and women, and where it is that he can do more and say more to heal that rift. He's not healing the rift. He's creating more rifts. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching this video as well. I cannot wait to see you guys see the next video. Have a fantastic day. Oh, bye.
You. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for coming to my page. So I would like for you to subscribe, and I also want you to watch the last video, and I hope that you enjoy everything on my channel. Thank you.